So no Cat in any of the matchups that you saw Minnesota this season. How much can you actually take away from what film that you had in those 4 games, or is this kind of a little bit dark?
Not a lot. I mean, as you mentioned, no Karl Anthony Towns, no Mike Conley, no Alexander Walker. 3 of the 4 regular season meetings were the second night of the back-to-back for us. Some nights, some of those games, our guys didn't play. So it's not so much taking from the 4 head-to-head matchups. It's more about how are they playing recently, how do they guard, how are we going to defend them. But it's going to come down to, can we get back in transition? That starts with our offense, not turning it over. Can we keep them out of the paint, our paint? They live in the paint. Anthony Edwards is a one-man fast break, lives at the rim. We know Karl is one of the toughest covers in the league. Can beat you from the 3, the 2, from the foul line. Mike Conley is just a savvy veteran, great player, poised. Rudy Gobert in the middle, and I think the guy that is probably their X factor is Kyle Anderson. I mean, that guy's IQ, unselfishness, and ability to make others better, and his versatility to guard lots of different 1 through 5. I think he's going to be a really important part of this series.
That being said, how do you anticipate them guarding Joker, and do you think Kyle's a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to. I mean, we'll have a much better feel tomorrow night after Game 1. They surprised everybody last night, starting Alexander Walker to guard his cousin, and I thought he did a great job. So if they stay with that, to put him on Jamal, then obviously Kyle's coming off the bench. So either Gobert or Cat are guarding Nikola to start. But at some point in the game, we know that they're going to get to Kyle guarding Nikola and letting Rudy Gobert be a free safety. And we've seen that not just from Minnesota before, from other teams. I think we have a pretty good feel for how to counter that. And we're looking forward to finally knowing who we're playing and going out there tomorrow night in front of the best home crowd in the NBA.
You mentioned, not getting to scout the team until 48 hours before tip-off. Is there any advantages that come with that? Seeing them play in 2 play-in games and maybe getting a read on some of their secret adjustments or what have you?
Well, I think because that's what happened, you have to make it that. You know what I mean? Like, instead of complaining about, well, we didn't find out till Friday night. Well, they didn't find out till Friday night. They had to worry about their first 2 games. So the Lakers and the OKC, it is what it is. I mean, like, instead of worrying about it, complaining about it, we were up late as coaches. We met really early this morning, and we just had, and this isn't coach talk, we just had a great practice. Guys are really locked in, focused, and we use tomorrow morning as a shoot around to prepare for Game 1 at 8:30 tomorrow night. But the situation is a situation, man, and you have to make the most of it, and that's what we're trying to do.
What's the most important thing you got done this week, Coach?
We weren't fully able to prepare until today, but I would just say getting in the gym, competing, and spending a lot of time together, reinforcing the we. They got together last night as a team to watch the game together, just the players, broke bread, more team bonding, and I enjoyed this week because this is like a training camp. We played live most of the week. We competed, and we worked on lots of different things. So even though we didn't know our final opponent until last night, we were able to prepare for a lot of different things, and I think that's going to help us.
What are you seeing at practice that makes you say, your guys are locked in, and I think a couple of days ago you said geeked up and energized. What are you seeing here that makes you say that?
Well, as far as the energy, man, it's something when you walk into a gym, when you're walking in to a gym where the players are highly self-motivated, or is it a gym where me and my coaches got to bring the juice and get them going? And after 7 months since training camp, not once have I felt this week, Harrison, that we've had, come on guys, pick it up. Like, our guys were bringing the energy themselves, the requisite energy. And as far as being locked in, that's discipline. Like, do our guys understand, as we've gone through our coverages, our adjustments, play calls, personnel, are they locked in terms of being disciplined, in terms of what we're getting ready to face? And I felt, today we threw a lot at them. Good thing is we played them 4 times. We know them fairly well. The guys fully understood play calls, tendencies, adjustments, and how we're guarding things. We didn't have to do it 3, 4, 5 times. We were able to get through a lot of things on the first take, which hopefully carries over until tomorrow night.
You mentioned, seen Rudy Gobert being a free safety. And I know the Jazz have done that with you guys in the past as well. If Minnesota does that, how important does overall shot making become for you guys, and how important does Aaron become? Not just with the spot and the shot making, but cutting off the ball as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the defense always tells you what to do. And if they're going to choose to guard us like that, and again, we've seen it not just this year, but in years past, so it's not like it's the first time we're going to see it. It's important for us, one, to get stops so we can get out and run and attack. I think we averaged 22 fast break points against them after our 4 games. So that makes it really hard to implement the game plan when you're playing in transition. When they do get to their game plan and they try to implement Kyle on him, Rudy Gobert free safety, Aaron or whoever else Rudy is guarding has to be spaced correctly, have an attack mindset, but also look to create offense for your teammates. Create a 2-on-1 out there. You're not being guarded by somebody, go set a ball screen. Go set a pin down. Just look to make plays for other people, and on top of that, just being ultra aggressive. They foul a lot. Teams get to the foul line a lot against them. And that's one thing I want more important than anything is we have to have an attack mindset for 48. No matter who we play, no matter how they're guarding us, the most aggressive team, when you have 2 really good teams like us in Minnesota, the most aggressive team is going to win.
Michael, we talked to Joker a couple of days ago, and he seemed to be in a great mood, like laughing, making fun of himself, and all the talents. Can you tell, is there like a palpable difference in his mood now that the playoffs are on the doorstep?
Yeah, I think all of our guys, you've had a week to kind of decompress from the regular season and get away from all the noise at the end of the season and just kind of get in the gym and just focus on us individually and collectively. And I would agree with that assessment, Mike. I think Nikola, you can tell, by his body language, you can tell by his face, where he's at. And I think Nikola, as well as everybody else, has a business-like approach right now, but also is feeling, really excited to finally starting this second season for us.
Like with the intensity of your workouts Wednesday and Thursday, is there any other time in the season that you're able to do that sort of workouts in practice, and does that sort of fend off rust, the possibility of rust?
Yeah, good question. I think the 3 times that I would say that where you have that opportunity are obviously training camp, when you're building up through the preseason to the season opener, and then to a little lesser extent coming out of All-Star break, you have a few days to you have no idea what your players have done for those 4 or 5 days, so you ramp it up coming out of All-Star break and get the Cabo out of them. And then now with the play-in, you have a week to find a way to get your players ready for game 1. And I think the way we approached it with taking off Monday, having a PD team dinner on Tuesday, going really hard Wednesday and Thursday, pulling back on Friday, and then having a really good, energetic mental day today, hopefully, allows us to be ready to go tomorrow night.
Is this a radically different way you feel this year compared to last year at the same time?
In what way?
Just the whole way you go into the playoffs, what it took to get there last year, the rest that you had. Like, how's the feeling from last year to this year?
I can't remember a year ago, man. For me, it's probably the same. Okay. Once you get to the season as coaches, it falls upon me and my staff to do everything in our power to prepare our players, from every vantage point. And so you put that pressure on yourself. And you also want to do everything to make sure they're physically ready to go. You're not doing too much. You're not going into the game 1 and we've left our legs in the gym. So I think every year is kind of the same. This is our 5th year in a row, and we're all excited. I think that's one common denominator. No matter what the situation is, when the playoffs get here, we're all excited to validate this regular season that we've had, and give Minnesota credit, man. They took care of business last night, and they look like a very dangerous team, and we're going to have a work cut out for us.
Coach, how important is game 1 just to send a message of this is how the series is going to be?
I'm not going to say it's because if we lose game 1, it's the most important game ever, then you lose game 1.
Oh, now what?
We've lost game 1s, and we've won the series. We've won game 1s, and we've lost the series. So, obviously, you've worked all year long to have home court advantage. So you don't want to give it away in game 1. But you have to win 4 games to get out of a series. That's You don't get too high after a win, and you don't. On the other hand, you don't get too low. And usually, if you lose a game one, it's not necessarily about game plan. It's about did we play hard enough, aggressive enough, urgent enough, and disciplined enough over 48 minutes. But I can't wait for the crowd tomorrow night. It's going to be unbelievable atmosphere, and it's going to be a hell of a series.
Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.